Hello, this is Heidi Meyers, Immigration and Economic Sanctions Attorney, and today we are going to talk about additional options for employers who did not get any H-1B visa numbers. So basically your problem is that you don't have enough qualified candidates to fill your professional positions. So I'm going to present some options that will increase your pool of qualified candidates, both U.S. citizens and immigrants alike. First, you need to make sure that your hiring platform and your algorithms are not screening out qualified candidates. So there have been many studies of AI hiring screening tools, and they often discriminate based on sex, race, and other protected characteristics. For example, Amazon had been using an AI hiring tool for a number of years, I think it was 3 or 4 years, and they discovered that it was systematically discriminating against women because it discriminated against anything in the resume that indicated that you were a woman. So for example, if you were the captain of the women's basketball team and you had women's basketball team on your resume, it would screen you out. Or if you had gone to college, that a women's college. So additionally, there have also been studies that AI tools screen out resumes with names that sound black, such as Lakeisha or Jamal. What happens is, in general, the AI tools are trained on the qualifications or the resumes of whoever is already holding these positions in the company. So for example, if the company is already heavily, in management is heavily white and male, the AI tool will assume that white male candidates are preferred. So I'm not talking about intentional discrimination here. I'm talking about the AI tool gets trained on the qualifications of those already holding, say, senior management positions or upper level positions. So whatever the demographics are of the people who already hold those positions, the AI tool will naturally tend to prefer those candidates. And so you have to audit your AI tool and make sure it's not screening out qualified candidates because because due to their demographics. So for another example would be, suppose you're trying to find upper level managers and your current managers all went to Ivy League schools. Or maybe not only did they all go to Ivy League schools, but they went to particular, say they all went to Yale or they all went to Cornell. You want to make sure your AI tool is not screening out candidates who did not attend Ivy League schools or who did not attend, say, Yale or whichever school it is that your upper level executives went to. So one tip is to audit your AI screening tool, to audit your software platform that you use for hiring, and make sure that qualified candidates are not being screened out based on their demographics. So that's one tip. Next is you want to make sure that you are not screening people out due to their citizenship status. So in general, U.S. employers cannot require that applicants be U.S. citizens unless it's truly required by law. For example, it's a U.S. federal government job, it's a federal contract that requires that, or certain jobs that require a security clearance. So in general, U.S. employers cannot post a job and say U.S. citizens only or U.S. birth certificate required. And likewise, U.S. employers cannot prefer people holding H-1Bs or OPT. So you cannot say H-1B or OPT preferred. Now, not only are you avoiding liability for discrimination, but you're also greatly increasing the pool of both immigrants and U.S. citizens who are qualified, talented, and hardworking. So you can think of this as not just, okay, it's not just that we're avoiding liability for discriminating, we're actually getting access to a lot more qualified candidates. Okay, so, and then also you want to consider immigrants who may not have their green card and are not in non-immigrant status, meaning not in sort of H-1B or some other temporary immigration status, but who are here very long term and who have work permits that need to be renewed. So you also want to make sure, even though someone's work permit might be expiring in 1 year or 2 years, or even less than a year, many of these individuals are here for very, very long periods of time. For example, young people who have DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. So these are folks that are in here in the United States for many, many years, and they will continue being here for many years, as the Supreme Court ruled that you can't just, the agency can't just take away a benefit that somebody already has. So these folks are going to be able to continue renewing their work permits. So one example is those who are here, who have work permits based on DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. Another example would be individuals who have TPS, Temporary Protected Status, and who have a work permit. In general, once TPS is designated for a country, that designation can continue for decades. For example, the TPS designation for Honduras was way back in 1999. So those folks are here for more than 2 decades, and they, of course, they have to keep renewing their work permit, but they're not going anywhere. They're here. And another example would be TPS from Syria since, I believe, 2012. You're talking more than 10 years, 12 years here in the United States. So you can find that list of nationals eligible for TPS on the USCIS website. And as I said, these people are here long term. They're not going anywhere. They just have to renew their work permit. And now if you look on the USCIS website, due to the long processing times for the renewals, there are automatic extensions of certain categories of work permits for 540 days. So with the automatic extensions, you don't need to worry about them losing their work authorization while they're waiting for their renewal card. Okay, so those on work permits that are here for a long period of time, you can those would be folks on DACA, folks with temporary protected status, and asylum applicants also. There are many asylum applicants that are stuck in the backlog, some since 2016 or maybe even earlier, who have not even had their interviews yet. So you're talking about a good 7 or more years just waiting for the interview with USCIS. They haven't been referred for removal proceedings or anything. And even if they're in removal proceedings, those can take years. There's 2 levels of appeal. So employers incorrectly think often that just because there's an expiration date on a work permit, that doesn't mean the person is not here for very long periods of time. So you need to consider people who are on work permits with an expiration date. And also you want to make sure that your HR is not committing document abuse when they're filling the Form I-9 by requesting more or additional documents. So for example, if someone has their permanent resident card, you can't also request an unexpired foreign passport. So this tip also would include U.S. citizens, because U.S. citizens, for whatever reason, might not have their U.S. passport, but they still have enough documents to fill the I-9 form. So you want to look at the I-9 form. The List A documents show both identity and work authorization, or the List B, where you can combine two rows of documents so that to show that the person has work authorization. Now, so these are just some tips so that you can increase your pool of applicants, both U.S. citizens and immigrants, and fill your hiring needs. All right, so this is Heidi Meyers, Immigration and Economic Sanctions Attorney. I am at 11 Broadway, Suite 925, New York, New York, 10007. That is 646-508-5225 or 212-791-4007. And my email is heidimeyerslaw@hmyers.com. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.